All right, you guys, let's talk about the 5 keys to confidence. If you just watched my previous video on how to get over someone, I told you I'd be making this video, but let's go ahead and get into it since I told you I'd be making it. First of all, the first 5 keys to confidence, I am going to describe all of them real quickly, just a quick overview, and then we're going to get into more detail after I tell you what the 5 keys are, and then after that, we're going to give you some actionable steps to apply them into your life. So the first key to confidence is intention. You have to know where you're going, what you're doing. The second key to confidence is knowledge. The knowledge and awareness of what you're doing and where you're going, how you're going to get to that place. The third key to confidence is going to be decisiveness and taking action. The fourth key to confidence is going to be persistence. And the fifth key to confidence is a little bit of a special bonus. It's a positive mental attitude in relationship to persistence, and I'll describe that in more detail as we go forward, moving ahead. So first of all, let's talk about intentions. You have to know exactly where you're going and what you want to be doing. So this is the first and most important key to confidence, because it is from this point that everything is going to come out of. See, intention comes from desire. And once you recognize inside of yourself that you have a desire, you are given a point of direction of where you want to go in life. It's very important to notice those times in life where you notice you have a desire inside of yourself, because the desire is telling you something. It's telling you that you want something. And just the fact that you have that desire, that is your mind, your body, and your soul telling you that there is a certain direction that you want to go forward in life with. So you have to recognize and you have to accept that. See, there's a lot of people that have been told in life that you can't have everything that you desire, that you can't live the life that you want, you can't live in that house that you want, or drive the car that you want, because society has brainwashed us, almost all of us, to live according to how they see fit, to how they think we should be living in order to have the best life possible. And they give us the direction we're supposed to go in order to be doing that. But I completely disagree with that. I believe in listening to your own core, and what does your core tell you that you want in life. So when you come across a desire, that is the first and most important part of confidence, because now that you have a desire, you have a direction. And once you have a direction, you are going to be moving forward in that direction. So this can apply in any scenario whatsoever. I know most people are probably going to be wondering, what about social scenarios, right? Confidence is most often associated with social scenarios, but it can also be associated with goal-oriented desires. So first of all, when it comes to social interactions, you'll see how all of this plays together, and goal-oriented desires. We have situations where you want to connect with someone, right? So that's the very first step. So you're going to be wanting to connect with someone, and as these other keys and components to confidence come into play, you'll see exactly what I mean. But that's the very first step. And if you're talking about goals, going in a certain direction, you have to know exactly where you're going. You have to know whether you want to make a connection with someone. You have to know whether or not you want to be going in a certain direction in life, what house you want to live in, how much money you want to make. And exactly, you have to know the direction. The next key component is going to be knowledge. So now, the reason that knowledge is important is because it's going to help you create a system. Once you have a system, you have a set rules and boundaries to work within that are going to help you achieve the results that you're going to want to make. And the reason why knowledge is important is because once you have a system tells you what actions you're going to be taking. And if those actions don't produce the results that you want to make, you got to tweak the system to be able to give you the result that you want to give. So let's talk about the 2 examples I was talking about. The first, goal-oriented desire. Let's say that right now you have a system, let's say you're in debt or something, right? The previous system you've been operating on is spending money before you have it. So you have to change that system. And you have to change the system to only spending money after you have it. That'll keep you out of debt. It's really kind of plain and simple on that one. Any other type of desire that you have, let's say you want to build your business, you have to build a system around how you're going to build that business. And every time that you move forward in life, you have to act on that system and make it happen. Let's say you're in a social situation, you want to connect with someone, you're going to have a system that you go through. You're going to say hi to someone, you're going to ask them about their life, you're going to talk to them about themselves, you're going to get to know them, you're going to connect with them, you're going to find things you have in common. So once you have the knowledge helps you create the system. Once you have the system, you can take actions inside of that system to get you the results that you want to get. Now, the next component of confidence is decisiveness, because decisiveness is going to help you take action. The important thing about taking action is that action is like the physical manifestation of the fact that you believe. And as I kind of mentioned in one of my previous videos about how to get over someone, is that where attention goes, energy flows. And the more energy you put into something, that is what is going to be built upon. And especially because we live in a physical world where things happen physically, you have to take action in order for things to be created into your life. Now, a lot of people say the law of attraction is just going to bring you stuff. It really can't do that unless you take action. Action is a vital, necessary component, and it's one of the keys that creates confidence. Because as you take that action, you are signaling to yourself that you believe enough in yourself to move forward in life, that you are going to get there. And because you are taking action, the subconscious assumption behind the action is that you believe enough in that action that it is going to produce a result. And therefore, it's a self-fulfilling cycle of creating confidence. The next part of it is going to be persistence. And by the way, I have a bonus one I'm going to be telling you about at the very end. The next one is persistence, and this is going to lead us to a positive mental attitude as well. So the next part about persistence, why persistence leads to confidence, is because, as we all know, the first time you try something, it's not going to go very well for you right away. There's many times in my life where, for example, I've tried to build a connection with someone, make a new friendship, start a new business. Anything that I've tried for the first time, I have failed probably miserably at the very first times that I did it. I always tell people the first 2 weeks that you do anything is very difficult. For example, when I first started going to the gym, the first 2 weeks, terrible, so sore. I was in pain, I was hurting, I didn't know what I was doing. I was probably doing so many things wrong. But it was the fact that I kept going that over time I got better at doing things. And this is where the knowledge component comes into play, because I knew what I had to do and I kept doing it. And every time I made a mistake and I did something wrong, I learned from it and I kept going. And as I learned from my mistakes and I kept going, then I kept getting more confident, because I knew what I was doing and it was starting to pay off and I was starting to see the positive results. Just recently, I've been day trading Forex for fun. Kind of for fun, but if I'm trying to do this YouTube stuff full time, but in the meantime, I'm trying to find another source of income that will keep me chugging along until I can do this full time in YouTube and everything is paying for it. Maybe I'll make a Patreon later and all that stuff. So I'm trying to fall into that system and create that system. But in the meantime, I have the Forex day trading going on. And at first, the very first 2 weeks that I did it, guess what? I lost a lot of money. I lost like 20%. I only started with $100, right? You're supposed to do paper trading, but I didn't feel like doing that because I wasn't emotionally invested. So I threw in $100 because I didn't care if I lost $100 doing that. So I started doing that. I lost $20 right. That's 20% loss, right? Very difficult to come back from a 20% loss. But that is just an example of how the first 2 weeks I was doing absolutely terrible. Now these second 2 weeks, because I've persisted, I've kept going, I have the knowledge. Every time I've made a mistake, I've written down what mistake I made and how to overcome that mistake in the future. Now guess what? The past 2 weeks I haven't lost any money. I haven't made any money either, but I haven't lost any. It's because I'm keep getting better every single time that I make a mistake. I learn from it, and now that I have this new knowledge and I keep persisting, I am getting more confident, and now I'm not losing any money. Soon, eventually, the next step logically is that I'm going to start making money from it the more I keep persisting and the more I keep learning. The next part of this is a positive mental attitude, because as you see, failure sucks. But it's the fact that if you allow yourself to keep a positive mental attitude by learning and applying knowledge, then you will succeed. Because take a social interaction, for example. How many times have you, or at least this is true for me, when I was first starting to try to socialize, right? Let's say I was I was probably in, I would say, freshmanish year of high school, where I was like starting to be social, hormones are running through the body. I'm starting to get attracted to girls. I want to talk to them, right? The first times I tried talking to girls, absolutely terrible, right? I probably embarrassed the shit out of myself. I probably looked so stupid and I said dumb things and whatnot, but that's okay. Because I totally messed up, right? And I looked really embarrassing, but I still believed that eventually, hey, some girl's gonna like me, and I kept developing the social skills. And as I developed those social skills, I kept talking to people. Then I got really good at talking to people eventually, where now I don't have a problem if I'm out at a bar or a club or at the grocery store, or if I'm at the mall. I can literally talk to anybody. I can talk to strangers. I can go out and do things. It's just because I took the time to develop those skills through persistence. And I kept going even all the times that I massively embarrassed myself. Every time I did something wrong or I got a result that I didn't like, I learned from it. And I learned, maybe shouldn't have said this, maybe shouldn't have done that. And every single step of the way, every single mistake that I made, I learned from it. And that's just how life is going to be. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is actually a really good thing as long as you have the positive mental attitude to learn from it. If you reframe every single mistake you've made in your life in a positive manner, you're going to take the silver lining out of everything. You're going to be much better off, and you're going to have a growth mindset. In fact, I was just reading this book by Carol Dweck called Mindset, and talks about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And the fixed mindset, the example she gave is people that, like, for example, they get a parking ticket, right? They get a parking ticket and they think, man, I suck. I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I just got a parking ticket. I'm having the worst day ever. I should have been paying attention. That sucks. That's dumb, right? And then they go out and they have their social interactions and they're in a bad mood. And the rest of the day is just ruined because they got in a parking ticket. In fact, the other day I was driving to Nevada because I was biking from Los Angeles to Las Vegas for a YouTube video that I'm going to be posting on my main channel, my content entertainment channel once it's edited. So make sure you go hit subscribe there, as well as here. But I went there and I went to do that and I got a speeding ticket on the way down. I was going like 90, 95, right? I was going really fast and I got a ticket in Nevada, and I knew, I was driving down the highway. First of all, I was in like the rural part of Oregon. No cops wherever. I knew I was fine. I was going pretty fast. I probably shouldn't have gone that fast. The next part, I got to the interstate getting into Nevada, and I was on the interstate, and I logically knew I should have slowed down because I was like, if there's going to be any cops, first of all, it's not going to be in the rural Oregon where I don't even have cell phone service, and it's a 2-lane highway that I can see 30 miles down. Like, there's not going to be anybody there, most likely. Then I was on the interstate, and I knew there most likely was going to be cops somewhere, but I didn't slow down. Even though I logically had that thought, I was like, I probably should, and I kept going the same speed. Eventually, down the road, about 12 miles go by, and I get pulled over, and I get a speeding ticket. And the first thing I thought to myself was not, I'm so terrible, I'm so dumb. It's like, wow, I should have listened to myself. And next time that I'm in a situation, I'm going to trust my intuition and I'm going to learn. Now, I'm not saying I should go out and keep speeding, but just hear me out. I said to myself, I should learn from that mistake. I'm going to take the lessons from that. I'm going to make sure that, one, maybe I don't go that fast. Two, I don't get caught going that fast. Man, this might be a terrible example, but anyway, I really mostly just thought to myself, I should have trusted myself when I knew I should have slowed down, and exactly where I should have slowed down. I should have done it right then and there, and instead of letting that thing ruin my whole trip that I was going, I kept a positive mental attitude. I took the silver lining from it, and I kept going, and I had a great rest of my trip most of the time, besides when I was on the side of the freeway for 29 hours biking. But even that was awesome in its own way. So see, that was an example. So just always, you take the silver lining out of everything, and that'll help you keep the positive mental attitude. And by doing all those things, you're going to go ahead and build confidence. And there's one very last thing, which I actually would say might be the most important bonus tip, bonus key component that I could tell you about, and that is taking total responsibility. I actually believe I made a video on this that you would never even guess is a video on this, because I made it about LeBron versus Michael Jordan for some reason. God, I'm so funny sometimes. Okay, so I made this video on responsibility and on taking total responsibility. And this is the 6th key. It might be the most important key to confidence, and that is taking total responsibility. It is taking extreme ownership. That's a great book by Jocko Willink. It's taking total responsibility and total extreme ownership about everything in your life, even things that you can't even control, kind of, because you kind of can control them. Because the reason that you want to take total responsibility for absolutely every single result in your life is because of the subconscious assumption behind taking total responsibility is that you have the power to change that. And by believing subconsciously that you have the power to change something, you actually give yourself permission, you actually give yourself power, and you give yourself the ability to make changes where normal people wouldn't be able to make changes. That is where leaders come from. Leaders come from taking total responsibility, not only over themselves and every result in their life, but over their team's results. Right? And that is why I talked about LeBron versus Michael Jordan. Actually, kind of a good video idea now that I think about it. Anyway. Yeah, so you have to take total responsibility over everything in your life. I'm talking about every little mistake you make, every little thing that sucks. For example, the other day somebody crashed into my car on the side of the street. They scraped up the whole side of it, absolutely ruined it, and the whole side was messed up. And instead of saying that, this has become such a habit now. Instead of looking at them and saying, man, that is their fault for crashing into that car, I said to myself, I should have probably parked my car where I regularly parked it, and I was about a foot away from the curb, maybe like 2 feet away from the curb, and I thought to myself, I should have really parked closer, because then I wouldn't have to deal with all this stuff. And subconsciously right there, I gave myself power over that situation. I said, hey, I shouldn't have parked there. I should have parked in a little bit of a different spot, and I wouldn't be dealing with this. And yeah, honestly, it kind of sucked dealing with that, but that is an example of me taking so much responsibility that I know I have power to change anything that I want in my life. And by taking responsibility in your life over absolutely everything, you also have the power to change anything in your life. And by the way, I ended up getting them to pay for the car and getting it all fixed, so that's not a problem, because I took responsibility over the whole situation. And so by giving yourself total responsibility, you are subconsciously telling yourself you are powerful, you are confident, and you can change anything that you want in your life. So make sure you take total responsibility over everything. It is a big burden to take on yourself, but the power that you get from taking responsibility, even over things you don't have to, tells yourself how much power you actually do have over your own life and your results and your success. So that does it for this video as well. Today's video, today I made 2 for you guys because I love you guys so much. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Also, get your free Legend wristband by clicking the link in the description. There's only 600 of them. I don't know if I'm gonna keep on doing this after. There's also a pink one if you're a girl and you want the pink one. Unless you're a guy, then you want the pink one, you can do that too. Or if you're a girl and you want the black one, that's cool too. Just pick one and get it. Okay, sounds good. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, real quick, for this video's growth challenge, I want you to ask yourself how you can implement these 6 keys into your life. And I want you to focus specifically on the 6th key. I want you to write all these 6 keys down in a piece of paper, and I want you to ask yourself, where have you not been doing this? And where could you been doing this? Think about the goal that you have in life, the direction that you want to go, and how you can actually apply it going forward into your life. So that's today's video growth challenge. See you guys.